Hey everyone, the exciting world of crypto. So in today's rundown, we're going to go through Bitcoin and we're going to go through the price action, we're going to go through the chart, we're going to go through a little bit about what I think is going on with Bitcoin and why it's trading sideways other than the obvious no one's buying it, and also a little bit into what's sort of happened in its parabolic move compared to what's happening now and why everything seems that a little bit slower with all the extreme fear that's in the market. Also in today's rundown, we're going to go through the news. Now all the crap's been skinned off the top. There's no one really tweeting that much crap. We've had the Miami Bitcoin conference, we've had all the FUD, the China FUD, the Elon Musk FUD, everyone just shilling shit coins. And now there's some fundamental news coming through the ranks, which we'll quickly briefly look at, and hopefully we'll start making some sense and getting back a bit of normality into the crypto space. So stick with us and let's get into the video. So Bitcoin, before I go into the charts and we'll start having a look at the technical analysis and where Bitcoin's finding its resistance and where it's finding its support and what I think is going on, I just want to briefly touch about a little bit of the information I've been digging in, because I invest in crypto and I'm a big FX trader and FX investor, but I wanted to know the fundamentals of what's really going on with the market. You know, what's going on with the institutional investors, which is, you'll be surprised to know, more kind of the family funds and the high net worth wealth people that were sort of buying a lot of this Bitcoin and causing the manipulation that we've seen. We don't see that as much now because obviously everyone is still holding a lot of altcoins. Now what happens is when people hold a lot of altcoins, it shows there's a lot of greed in the market because people don't want to sell these coins or they don't want to sell them at a loss. And then obviously no one's flowing the money into Bitcoin, and this is where the smart money, as it's called, wants to try and shake out the weak hands and grab your bags of Bitcoin. Now this will happen because obviously they'll get bored, and you've heard a lot of things in the market, I'm sure, and on the socials about the Wyckoff chart. And you know, if everyone knows about that Wyckoff chart, will they start changing their plan now? No, they won't, because obviously Wyckoff chart's been going for many years, and people new into crypto tend to get a bit zealous, a bit bored, a bit too eager, and they start returning to their kind of old bad habits more than traders and investors, and the big boys tend to move away from their known proven methods. So all of this happening is a lot to take in with what's happening with Bitcoin. And also I just wanted to mention as well is that when we've seen these moves, and I've traced this all the way back and I've had a look and I've seen what kind of people coming into the market, where the coins were being brought from, etc., and listened to a lot of people with their opinions and on the socials and also in these experts in the industry. And it was found that obviously Bitcoin had a lot of people sort of on the hype and on the FOMO of it, investing, buying, and also gambling on Bitcoin. If you've seen like some of the way the money came in and out in that short period of time, gamblers were on there. And when I say gamblers, it's people just gambling on shorting and longing the market. They didn't care about any investing in Bitcoin, they didn't care about the fundamentals of Bitcoin, and they certainly don't care about holding Bitcoin in the long term. They're in it for what's called the quick win, the quick buzz, and the quick buck. Now obviously when all that comes out and they want to cash out and they see people getting a bit weak, and then the investors, then the manipulation people come in and they see that obviously they want to sell, because obviously they're selling to you. Why the euphoria is going high and it's pumping and you're buying and you're getting these 50s and you know all these laser eyes. This was a perfect opportunity for these investors to then sell their bags to you. So they're selling, so they're buying low and they're selling high, and this is what really happened. And then obviously they dump all their coins and they cause the market to sort of take this massive spike. And then when people see this spike. So they do the top part and they do the initiation, and obviously on the back of that you get all the fear factor, which is they regard the emotion in the market. Then people start dumping that. So it's like layers. In effect, you've got like the Kickstarter, which is the big money guys, the whales, the market manipulators. They kickstart an event. Then obviously that sends a trend and a pattern with the fear and the FOMO in the market. Then they send it out to the socials, and then everyone's saying the market's crashing, what's going on, should we sell? Then obviously all the newbies into crypto, because they knew there was a whole pool of newbies in there, they're saying, oh shit, what's going on, sell. So some of these people are selling at a loss. Now a true crypto investor would never really sell any coins at a loss, because they're buying, when you're an investor, you're buying a coin, Bitcoin, altcoins, whatever coin you're buying because you believe in that product, you believe in that coin, and you believe that fundamentals are going to carry that coin all the way through euphoria stage, all the way through a bear market, all the way through whatever it is your hodl or your long-term plan is. Now, don't get me wrong, people do take profits on the way, but you don't sell everything at a loss, because obviously taking profits is different between dumping your coins at a loss. It's a totally different strategy and a totally different plan. So that's why we're seeing now a lot of people are holding their altcoins, and it's causing the market to be a bit stagnant and boring, and Bitcoin's price to be a bit stale, because obviously it's a lot of the long-term crypto investors that are still in there. Now, obviously, you've got other people on the socials that want to just give you what you want to hear because it gets clickbait, it gets channel views, but we don't do this, or I don't do this on the channel. I literally just mimic what I want to do in the market. It's not financial advice, it's just what I do, I share with everyone on this channel, because I want to trade smart. I want to be, I don't think I'm anything better than the big boys that are in there, but why beat them? Just join them. Just they've got a proven method that's working for them, because we've seen crashes in Bitcoin that we've never seen before. So why would you want to beat that method? Join it. All you have to do to join that method is buy low, sell high to the people that just FOMO into it, and that's exactly what's happened. I don't believe in people shilling coins. I don't believe that you should do anything untoward, but I do believe you should be rewarded for being smart in the market. There's plenty of advice out there. We all had to start at ground zero at one point. We all had to put in the graft, the hard work, the learning, the technical analysis, researching the market, researching the products, researching the fundamentals of everything that we're putting hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands or whatever it is your appetite is into the market. And obviously markets are changing with the introduction to futures gaps in the market. Now, I don't want to harp on too much about what's right, what's wrong, how you should be doing it, and what you should be doing, because obviously you do you and I do me. But what I do want to do, I want to highlight all the knowledge and all the things that are out there, which in my opinion are like traps, like booby traps in this whole labyrinth of crypto. Now, we're all in this, and we're all putting our hard-earned efforts in and our hard-earned money to get rewards out of crypto, and obviously if we're not careful, we're getting wrecked. Now, that's coming at no surprise to you, but coming back, obviously I wanted to explain to that, but coming back to the Bitcoin, and obviously the concerning, that's why, so that little bit of information there was why Bitcoin's being so boring at the moment, is a whole magnitude of things that are combined together. There's no one thing. I know people are blaming Elon, he did have a contribution to it. People are blaming the manipulation in the market also has a contribution to it, but also the market trend and the volume in the market is a lot different to how it was at the beginning of the year, when we seen things nice and rosy and flying up. But that being said, we'll jump into the chart, and as you can see, Bitcoin is absolutely being a ball. It's like it's been trading sideways for a few days now. Well, to be honest, you could say it's been trading sideways since it had this bounce here, which was all the way back in in the crash. Well, the big crash was here, and then it had a retest of the crash here back on the 23rd of May, and it's just been trading sort of in this kind of big channel here. And I know everyone was drawing this line here, which I've got in now, because people were saying that, you know, it breaks out of this wedge, we're going to go up, we're going to retest. But I put it in there just to obviously keep abreast of what other people are saying in the market, but I didn't see that myself. And as you'll see on a lot of my other videos, I thought we would trade in this channel a bit more aggressively than we are. I mean, I'll be honest, this has shocked me how low the volume is at the moment, and how sort of like low the enthusiasm is in Bitcoin, because I thought we'd trade exactly how we're trading, sideways, but I thought we'd be hitting support and resistance a hell of a lot more, not just hitting the resistance here, hitting the support, and then sort of, in all hindsight, creating a new kind of resistance here. Now obviously this line here is the 50-day moving average. Now Bitcoin's having a lot of trouble breaking this moving average, and this is causing a massive problem with Bitcoin trading between 35 and 30 kind of 9,000 for so long. And I'll explain to you why Bitcoin could be in danger trading at this kind of level for this long. Because if we have a look at the daily chart, you'll see, and you might have heard a lot of people talk about this, the death cross. Now the death cross is where the 50-day moving average crosses the 200-day moving average, and we're getting worryingly, like super worryingly close to this. Now the death cross happening isn't the end of the world, but it is bad for Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin's not starting to at least test this resistance and break up and sort of get this moving average kind of shine away from the 200, sorry, the 50 shine away from the 200, we're going to be in a lot of trouble, because markets then will turn a lot more fearful. You'll probably see a bit more of a dip. Bitcoin then could come down and sort of test these lower levels down here, which was what a lot of people were saying, that Bitcoin could come down to 25,000. I mean, I think that 31 would be its next stop, in my opinion, or you might see a few wicks down here, but it did get a lot of bounce here in previous times, and it didn't really go below that. If you see, I'll just quickly pop this support line down here, you'll see that these two lines match up absolutely perfectly. Now this is where the dip was for the pump back in January, and the end of January here, before we had that big pump, and then we had that, what people were saying was a correction, but obviously the January one was a lot worse. Now this bounce here, this absolutely played out to a T. It came right down to the sort of like the 28,800 mark. Now this could be a next test for Bitcoin, but we do not want to see this kind of crap happen, because we're hoping that the money is still on the exchanges. There's still a lot of money being pumped in. There's still a lot of institutions and businesses and managers saying that they're going to pump money into Bitcoin. But what they're doing is they need to understand if the market is actually at its bottom. They're probably looking at this kind of death cross. They're probably looking at this sideways stagnant and the greed in people holding their altcoins and thinking, you know, if the market's going to come back down and retest 28, I'm not going to pump a lot of my money in and buy Bitcoin around about the 35 to 39,000 mark. Now I think even if Bitcoin goes up and touches the 41, 42, if it doesn't break this resistance and we start seeing an uptrend in these trend lines, I think it'll test the line and will still drop back down, which then in turn will drag your altcoins down. Because what these people want to do, and what the market wants to do, it wants to really squeeze every last penny out of the noobs, the weak hands, the dumb money as they call it. And the market, why it got everyone shook here, was not rattled enough. We're seeing in the trends for a lot of people. Now the volume here was a lot more aggressive than it was when we had the dump in January and we had the dump in March. But this is where manipulation comes in at its finest, because if you're thinking we've got this bull run where we're halfway through the year now, and everyone had in their mind that Bitcoin and Ethereum were going to battle it out all the way through the summer, June, July, August, then obviously September onwards we were going to start seeing altcoins. There was a lot of people saying we were going to go through an altcoin wave with the DeFi, then the NFTs, and then they said that the face melting gains on the last bull run came around about the sort of November, December mark, if I remember rightly, and obviously people were gearing up for the same this time. But obviously this time there's a lot more manipulation in the market. There's a lot more people exposed to crypto, and there's a lot more people that want to sort of grab crypto by the scruff of the neck and really shake it and make money out of it. Now, as you know, crypto is appealing to two different kinds of people. You've got the people that actually like the idea of crypto, and they like this, it's decentralized, that Bitcoin is probably the most valuable, scarce asset on the planet, even more than gold in my opinion. And they like the fact that you can invest in Bitcoin now, and no matter if it crashes down now or crashes down towards the end, there's only been 1 year from the charts I've looked at that Bitcoin's ever sort of ended lower than the year before. Now, that to me is a better asset than any other fiat, any other gold, any other oil or anything out there. I still think Bitcoin's the number one asset to have. And my plan certainly is, I don't mind having my emotions shook, I don't mind riding this wave, but your plan and my plan should be, if you want to stay in crypto for the long term, you should ride the altcoin seasons and harvest the crops as much as you should, but your foundations and your platform should always be based around the solid coins. Now Bitcoin obviously is the king of coins, Ethereum's the queen of coins, but is absolutely fighting its cause to take the throne, but obviously you can sort of guess where the stable coins are. Now obviously you can take what you want from this. I'm just obviously not telling anyone what they want to hear. I'm actually telling you what is actually happening in the market. Now we want to put this into context, and I'll shorten it down quickly just now, but what it is I don't think the bull run's over, and all my edges are saying that the bull run's not over. It's the bulls in the market and the people with the big money don't want it to be over. We certainly don't want it to be over, but we're at a crossroads where the people that are holding crypto and the greed in the market are battling with the people that want to manipulate the market and want to shake it out. So when this happens, you kind of get a stalemate, which is where Bitcoin is at the moment. It's trading sideways, it's kind of a stalemate. They're not ready to release the euphoria stage because when we do see Bitcoin break out and when we do see this next leg up, this will be the final finale kind of thing for this bull run. And when you want to do a final finale, you want to make sure that you're geared up, you're race prepped, you've got your battle gear on, and you're going to hit this final part of the bull run like a hammer to a nail. And this is what the smart money people are doing, and that's what I'm doing, and that's what I advise everyone to do. Now obviously we've got levels that you're either a big whale investor, you're a medium investor, you're a small investor, or you're just a kind of jokey investor, which pumps all your money in shit coins, and when it goes wrong start crying, where's my money gone, and asking for a refund. But that's the sort of Bitcoin price, and that's where it's at. No one wants to bullshit and say, oh, I could draw a descending triangle here and I could do that here, because these technical analysis, and trust me, I've done technical analysis for years upon years and years, and I study it, and I still study it every time still. Technical analysis is based a lot on emotion. It is pure emotion in the technical analysis, because it is about trends, waves, patterns that are built on trading patterns from before and how people are reacting to the market, which is emotion. Now, when the emotion is the whole market is in fear or extreme fear, the emotion is low, right? The emotion is people are not in there trading and stuff like that. Now, also, when you say trading, I mean not just buying Bitcoin. People are not in there kind of, because there's no volatility and there's no, what we call top action happening with Bitcoin, no one's in there trading it. No one's on the Bybits, no one's on the Femexes and shit like that, pumping loads of money in, you know, and trying to like long, short and ride these kind of pip trains that I call them to all the way to the moon. And if that's not happening, then obviously the coins ain't moving. And that's when you see, that's the only time you see the Bitcoin to price action, the Bitcoin to USDT or the dollar move, because obviously Bitcoin is compared against the dollar, but all the other coins you need to compare to Bitcoin. Otherwise, you'd just be looking at the same charts, which is good, but you want to make sure that you're comparing it at least to Bitcoin to know what kind of state that altcoin's in, or that NFT or whatever it is you're in. You need to make sure that you're comparing that coin to Bitcoin, not just to the US dollar, or all your charts are going to look the same. And that's what's happening here. A lot of people are looking at the charts and they just seem boring. Everything's just boring. So I still think we're going to see a good few more days of boringness. We could see a couple of days of pain, because obviously, you know, from last time, if you've been in this since the beginning of the year, at the beginning of the year when everything used to dump, it used to be called Blood Mondays, where, you know, everything overnight, when either China come into the market or stuff like that, would dump on a Sunday night. You'd wake up Monday thinking, oh my God, everything's just a sea of red. And I think we might have a couple of them kind of painful knocks before we see one of the, either the smart money or the people that get fed up with the retail money start really pumping some and buying up Bitcoin. And also we've got, I think it's at the end of the month or in a few weeks time, that you've got a lot of contracts ending on Bitcoin. So that's another thing that we could, you know, if Bitcoin don't start moving in the next 4 to 5 weeks, and these contracts start ending, there's going to be no appetite to sort of bolster Bitcoin and start really giving it some oomph to get up in the top end of the markets. But I'm staying positive. I'm still massively invested. I've not took one iota penny out of Bitcoin. All I've done is hold fiat in case there's a dip, and invested a lot more money into the altcoins with the corrections, the crashes, whatever you want to call them, happened. Because obviously I was harvesting profits on the way up, because I know for a fact, obviously, and you need to understand this as well, every time a coin hits a all-time high, it doesn't stay up there for a great deal of time, unless it was that run that Ethereum had. But there's one or two exceptions to that. But majority of the time with these altcoins, all-time high, you'll see it, if it spikes up really quick, you know there's no support there, and it's going to drop down a little bit. So that's a good time to harvest profits from the all-time highs. Now, quickly before I end this video, because I did over exaggerate on the Bitcoin price, because I really wanted all the information I get, and I really want to pass out there so people know what's going on. Now, because you're going to invest your money into this, and I don't want anyone to get wrecked, but we'll see. In the news quickly, so Ethereum highs parabolic move versus Bitcoin. Now, it says, with some cryptocurrencies scoring sustained upside despite a decline in crypto, market cap hopes remain that an opportunist alt season can still emerge. Now, I don't see where these are saying this crap about an opportunist alt season can still emerge, because we're definitely going to see an alt season. But where that's going to come, we don't know. We know the money might flow into Bitcoin. Bitcoin might hit a psychological level, and people might make a ton of profits on there and think, okay, now I've got the money to go and really go into the altcoins and shake them out. But we don't know that. But Ethereum, and I'll quickly jump into Ethereum's chart, is looking like it wants to do a little bit of its own thing, because Bitcoin here is trading sideways, stagnant, whereas Ethereum is trying to break its resistance on these kind of moving average trends, and it's hitting its resistance. And it's been trading sort of like in this channel now since the crash, like I said, with Bitcoin. And this is how I expected Bitcoin to go: up, hit resistance, down, hit support, up, hit resistance. And we've got a nice consolidation pattern here, where you'll obviously Ethereum shoot down to its support, or we'll start seeing a breakout from the resistance. And if we see a breakout from the resistance, it hasn't got a long way to go before it starts hitting the next level of resistance. You know, if it breaks out, it'll start hitting around the 2.9, maybe get up to 3,000 mark, and then we've only got another 3,500 to go before our next resistance is an all-time high. So things are looking quite optimistic, and this is a W pattern, and this is on the daily chart, and we're seeing a nice W here on the daily. So this is good for Ethereum. Now I'm hoping obviously Bitcoin wakes up and starts smelling the roses soon, but like I said, going back to the news, Ethereum does look like it's looking to want to go away and do a little bit of movement on its own. So Ethereum could start helping a lot of the altcoins out soon, and start dragging up, because why Bitcoin does pump and then it does drag the altcoins up naturally with the Bitcoin to altcoin ratio. What happens when Ethereum pumps is a lot of people get excited in the market, and a lot of people bring some of their money or start releasing their fiat back into the market. So we're coming to the end of the video now. Hope that Bitcoin analysis, although long, was very informative, but I wanted to also give you some substance about what research I do. I just didn't want to give you price charts that any Tom, Dick, Harry or whatever can read. I wanted to give you some of the substance about the research I do, what I see happening behind the scenes, what I think's happening in the market, and what I want to support the price action of Bitcoin going sideways with. In the news, obviously big news that Ethereum eyes up the parabolic move, which we've looked at the charts, and it does certainly show signs of looking that way and could happen. Just one more thing in the news, that the El Salvador, Paraguay failed to flip Bitcoin bulls. Obviously the news about that country taking Bitcoin as its national currency. Obviously it's not major, but and it failed to move Bitcoin, and that's for reasons that I was saying before. Bitcoin's not going to be moved at the moment by just small bits of news like that, when we've got people holding money back to release on their kind of agenda and action plan. So that's all for today. Today's rundown: Bitcoin, Ethereum, the news, and what I think's happening in the market. Please smash the like button, please subscribe, hit the bell button. This helps me a lot. It helps you, it helps me, sort of get these videos out there and give you the information that you don't want to spend hours researching, but want to know about when you're investing your money. And also, if you have any questions, or if you want to see different kind of analogies, or there's something you're not sure about, leave a comment below, pop a comment below, and I'll certainly look into it, and we'll try and put another video out on it. Or I do a lot of shorts. I do a 60-second crypto news on the channel, a lot of shorts there that I can sort of give a 60-second overview of it on, because I will research everything I do vigorously. So hope everyone has a great evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are, and as always, trade smart, trade safe, and don't get wrecked.